Hello, my name is Kaivon Atkinson, and I'm here today to discuss a couple of aspects of Chapter 1 that I thought were worth going over. One thing that I found interesting was the book stressed the importance of putting more emphasis on developing the worker within a food production company, which I wholeheartedly agree with. Um, but in regards to really any company, especially a food production company, is putting more emphasis on the worker actually worth it? You see all these companies such as Amazon, especially food companies such as McDonald's, these fast food restaurants, Taco Bell, things of this nature. They don't necessarily have to put such a high emphasis on the worker because of their workforce being so large and their turnover rate being so high that putting more emphasis on the worker would actually hurt them in the long run, financially, versus just continuing their current operations. While I agree that putting more emphasis on the worker is important, it may not always be 100% necessary. And also, for a lot of these food companies, especially these larger chain restaurants, a lot of the time, the book seems to assume that these workers are going to want to have their opinions asked of them, and they're going to want to add more than they currently do to the food production operation, when they could very well just want to collect a paycheck and go home and get along with everybody and not really be that involved with the company. So it may be a better bet just to keep workers how they are. But again, I do agree that putting more emphasis on the worker is important. Now, another aspect I thought was interesting about subjective and objective quality was that does subjective quality ever take precedence in terms of important over objective quality? Now, I ask this because just because a product may meet objective standards as far as meeting quality specifications, meeting specifications to make sure that the machines are running correctly to produce the food products. Just because it meets those standards doesn't mean it'll necessarily go well in a larger consumer base, or in consumer testing. And on the opposite spectrum, a product considered incredibly low quality, it could meet zero standards as far as, of course the machines need to run correctly, but it can meet no standards of what the food production company thinks is good quality, and the consumer could absolutely love it, even though the ingredients or the processes involved aren't necessarily considered the best. So I thought that even with objective standards, quality itself is primarily subjective. So I find that it actually probably could take precedence over objective standards, even though objective standards have to be met. Subjective quality standards are what is going to drive the objective standards in the long run. So I thought that was something that was worth noting. And I do think that subjective quality is the driving force in creating a quality product, and all the objective standards that have to meet that. So if anyone has any questions or anything to add, please feel free to do so. Thank you and have a great day.